Now, I call it the greatest transfer of wealth in world history. One of the asset classes that is definitely included in that transfer of wealth would be real estate. So in today's real estate update, we're going to react to what Grant Cardone just said on Fox Business, stating that Jerome Powell and the Fed single-handedly created this mess, and this is going to lead to the biggest real estate correction in his lifetime. Now, it's not all bad news. There's actually some good news that we're going to share at the end, but I'm going to play this clip. This is an interview that Grant Cardone just did the other day, and then I'm going to give you guys my reaction for today's real estate update. Let's check it out.
Well, real estate struggles are real. Home buyers and sellers alike feeling a massive struggle to close deals or make money. And if you need yet another sign of turmoil, 45% of U.S. real estate agents are struggling to pay rent on their offices. Here to react is private equity fund manager and real estate investor Grant Cardone. Welcome, Grant. So tell me, why are real estate owners and agents not able to pay the rent? What is going on?
Well, because, Rachel, the Fed single-handedly has killed the housing market. The Fed will make more renters in this country in the next 2 years than it has in the last 50, because mortgage applications are at all-time lows. Mortgages are double what rent is today. And it doesn't surprise me that real estate agents are feeling the brunt of this. Back in June of 22, Jerome Powell said that the middle class, everyday people, would disproportionately feel the pain of higher interest rates in his attempt to control inflation. He has not controlled inflation. He has failed miserably. What he has actually done is create it and, in the meantime, stop the housing industry.
What would you recommend he do?
Well, what he should do is get out of the way. There's no time in history in my lifetime that the Fed actually controlled interest rates. Supply and demand is what controls interest rates. As long as people are spending their money, that means they want that product or service. At what point it gets to a price where I no longer find it valuable, I will no longer continue to purchase that. And people want homes. People want to live in a single family home. I don't personally think it's a great investment. I've said that many, many times. I've gotten ragged out on it, but he should step aside, get out of the way, let the market do its thing. Interest rates will have to come down in order for pricing to come down.
That's right.
This is actually a contradiction to what most people think. But when interest rates come down, mortgage applications will go up, and people will start selling their homes.
Well, the World Economic Forum had this famous commercial where they talked about the Great Reset, and they said, you will own nothing and you will be happy. And you're seeing that happening. You're saying that we are becoming a renter nation. I say it's by design. Explain what you mean by it.
The rents in this country, the average rent, as much as people complain about them, we have 12,000 units. The average rent's about $1,800. And as much as they complain about it, the mortgage on a similar home in that same neighborhood would be double that, plus insurance, and plus a PMI, which is mortgage insurance on the mortgage itself. So it's unaffordable for people to own a home today. And that means you will rent, you will literally own nothing and be happy about it. Now, the apartment complexes that are being built today provide such crazy great amenities that it is actually, for new generations of people, it's actually an alternative that's not economic, but actually desirable for them to actually live someplace for 10 or 24 months at a time rather than hunker down for 30 years.
Yeah. Well, these hedge funds and private equity firms are buying up property and then, making them into rentals. And we're seeing, as you said, less and less people owning their home, which always was the American dream.
And this is...
Go ahead. Last thought.
Yeah, I just want to say that we're entering the greatest real estate correction in my lifetime. It will not include single-family homes, but it will include office, which we're already seeing that damage, and we're going to see it across the entire apartment complex. It's going to be a great opportunity for individuals, regular, everyday people, to actually grab trophy real estate from institutions. This has never happened in this country. It's going to be at epic levels.
All right. Great information. Thanks so much for joining us this morning, and Merry Christmas.
Okay, so let's start off with the good news first. You heard Grant say that he doesn't think that this will include single-family housing. As I continue to try to do with all of my real estate updates, and anytime I comment on the real estate asset class, I try to be very clear on whether I'm talking residential or commercial and what segment of commercial I'm talking about as well. He's talking about the greatest correction in his lifetime taking place in the commercial, in office, in multifamily apartments, you name it, all the different segments that make up commercial, not so much in the single family housing. And we've actually seen that. We've highlighted communities and neighborhoods where prices are still going up 5 or 10% year over year. And so, yeah, there are some markets that are not going to be going into correction. We want to be very clear about that. He says that single family housing will be fine. But let's go back to him blaming Jerome Powell. And I think that he misspoke. He said that the Fed's never controlled interest rates. I think that he meant to say the Fed's never controlled inflation, because he was talking about as soon as something gets to a certain price, so, people are just going to decide, okay, that's too much, I'm not going to pay for that. So I think what he meant to say was the Fed has never controlled inflation. And the thing is that the Fed has created this mess. And I do believe that it is done by design. As you heard the anchor state, from the World Economic Forum, the Great Reset, the whole spiel there about you'll own nothing and be happy. That can be debated another day if we want. But whether it was done on purpose or whether it was a mistake, these guys are too smart to make these types of mistakes. That's why I believe it was done on purpose. They absolutely have created this mess. And you got guys like Grant, with huge portfolios, and it seems like Grant's is doing pretty well. I watched another video. They returned like $50 million to their investors with 13 payouts, 13 checks sent out to their investors this year. Sounds like they're doing pretty good still. But we have over $1 trillion worth of commercial real estate that has to be reset by next year. This is debt that has to be restructured. And so very simply, by the Fed just taking the rates from about 0 up to 5%, this is the fastest pace that they've done that. The whole time I've been saying, guys, this is a rug pull of Main Street. This is a rug pull of our economy. And definitely commercial real estate is going to be impacted more this time than it was during the Great Financial Crisis, which was more about single family housing. Obviously, our economy entered a recession, unemployment skyrocketed, and we saw that all of real estate really took a hit, but it was mostly driven in single-family speculative markets. This time around, we have commercial going through a reset, but I think that he's spot on. Even with their phony manipulated data, they still haven't been able to bring inflation back down to 2%, and I don't think that they will. Right? The interest rates is one lever that they have, and then making that money printer go burr is the other one that they have, the two options that they really have here. And the Fed has just told us, Member Williams this week, he came out after Jerome Powell said that they were kind of getting dovish. Jerome Powell did a little victory lap, kind of acting like they've won the fight against inflation and that they are, talking about rate cuts. Well, contradictory to that, we had another member come out just 2 days later, come out and say that, no, we're not talking about rate cuts. And so, like Grant's saying, I'm saying the same thing. As long as they keep these rates higher for longer, and the damage has already been done, it's the ripple effects are still being felt. The tremors are still being felt from this initial shock, and it's only going to be worse or exaggerated the longer that they keep these rates higher. By the time they come in and are cutting rates, that's when there's already going to be blood on the streets. And what Grant said, when they do bring interest rates down, he says that it's going to bring prices down because people are going to want to sell again. I believe that actually is going to be true, especially in some markets, is that there's a lot of pent up inventory that folks are going to be looking to offload. It's just they can't afford to replace their current house. They can't afford to find a place to live. And as he mentioned, the average price on his rental is about $1,800. We are becoming a renter nation, and in many areas, it is cheaper to rent than it is to buy. So many folks are going to be happy. In fact, I'm someone who is happy right now to rent. I don't care if I'm, not building any wealth or equity in the place that I live in. I'm going to build a real estate portfolio similar to what, Grant has done and others. We are going to invest in real estate, but the big money's not made in the one house that you live in, right? You might make a little something. You might have a little equity. You might be able to flip. You might, do a little deal. But that's not where you build generational wealth. Of course, you can have a piece of generational wealth with that property that you could hand on down to your children. But, Grant and many of these other guys, they talk about how if renting is a better option, take advantage of that. And it doesn't have to stop you from making investments. And that's where I sit right now. I'm not going to purchase a bad deal just so that I can live the American dream. And so I think that he's right. The Fed is going to come in and they're going to cut rates, but it's going to be too late. And the damage is already going to be done. The real estate reset's already underway. And so it's up to you to understand your market, your segment, whether you're investing in single family residential, whether you're going commercial, what segment of commercial you're going in, what city are you going to invest in, what state are you investing in. There's states, I was just watching in California, some of the bills that they've now passed for real estate investors, just making it more difficult. And then as we've seen now, there's 2 bills that are being considered at Congress to actually ban hedge funds from being able to buy single family homes as well. And if that goes through, and as I've been saying, even before that goes through, and even if it never does go through, because it's already being perceived as kind of a negative, you're going to see hedge funds offload, and they already are starting to. And, very simply, some of these properties are just going to be handed back to the lender. That's what Grant's doing right now, is he's trying to go in and buy these properties at less than replacement cost. And that's their tried and true method for what they're doing right now. And he said that they're doing 2 funds for next year. They got another equity fund, and then they have a distressed fund where they're going to be going and buying distressed debt and, seeing incredible cash flow from those deals. And, he mentioned how this is going to be one of the best opportunities for folks who have a plan, who know what they're doing, and are willing to step up. And maybe with you and some friends, you can put some money together and get some of these deals done. He's on institutional quality investments. And I think that that's, definitely a safe way to go when you look at the type of qualities and products that he's been getting on. Very good stuff. But as always, you guys know the deal here with this real estate reset. You need to understand where you're at, what you're investing in, whether we're doing a real estate deal, whether we're looking at a crypto, a stock. It is up to you to have that education, that knowledge, and be doing that research so that you really know where you're investing, what you're investing in, who you're investing with. And it's going to be very interesting to see who makes it through to the other side of this real estate reset. And just like Grant, I'm just as excited to be investing with my community as well. And we're looking at deals right now. So if you want to join us in our private group, that's over at my website, ZachRector.com. Sign up through Patreon to get access to Discord. And we're running a deal through the end of the year where you can get 13% off your annual membership when you sign up for 1 year. So you sign up for 1 year, save 13%. We're not targeting 50 billion assets under management like Grant Cardone, but excited to get some deals done with the community nonetheless. So with that being said, guys, I will see you guys in the next update. I got another interview that I'm doing here today with Patrick Riley of Reaper Financial. Really looking forward to that. So make sure you hit that notification bell after subscribing. And if you can do me a big favor and like this video on the way out, I would greatly appreciate that. Let me know what you guys think about this real estate market down in the comments down below, and I will see you in the next one. God bless.